Hey, everybody, it's Steve Alexander, Dr. A. It is Tuesday, February 20th. This is the award-winning RotoWire Fantasy Basketball Podcast. That is Brian Rosenworcel from the Man Guster. We're going to talk some All-Star. We're going to talk some Nets, since he's a Nets expert. We're going to look at some maybe hot free agents, since we're in the middle of this long break, and take some of your questions. So let's do this. Brian, what's happening?
Not much. It's an honor to be on this award-winning podcast.
What are you eating?
Pistachios that have been in my car for who knows how long.
And why are you in your car?
Because my kids are so loud in the house.
Okay. All right. Those are all very good answers. Your hair is looking particularly tall today.
I think the skylight is accentuating its height.
Okay. Well, I had a dream about this podcast early this morning, and I was walking down the stairs backstage at a venue that Guster was playing at, and there was a man standing at the bottom of the stairs with really long, dark black hair, and it was cut really. It was Jimmy Butler's haircut, his emo cut that he did at the beginning of the season. And when the guy turned around, it was you, and you had Jimmy Butler's emo hair. And then I woke up. It was awesome.
Yeah, that's a great dream. Jimmy Butler's hair from early in the year was a revelation, and people should have been talking more about it.
Really, and the fact that it is in his bio picture now, like when you look up Jimmy Butler, that's the hair you get. That is the hair that was on your head when I awoke from this dream.
Anything's possible.
All right. So apparently you did not watch the All-Star game. Is that correct?
I kind of check out of the All-Star festivities in general. It feels very separate from my love of the NBA. Does that make any sense?
It makes a ton of sense. I looked at the box score on my phone and saw that Luka wasn't doing anything, and I saw that Dame was kind of going off for the East, and I was like, I'm not turning that on. I never even turned it on for 1 second. My son was downstairs watching it. But I tweeted on Wednesday or Thursday, like, I don't know why people get so excited about the All-Star game, because every single year, as soon as it's over, everybody's like, well, that was a travesty. I wish I would have never watched. And that's exactly what happened again this year, like 200 to 180 or whatever. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know how to fix it. I don't know that it'll ever be fixed. I don't think these guys, it's their spring break, and they don't really feel like playing defense, and there's no competitive reason for them to try really hard in the All-Star game. The only thing that's going to make them try is if they have personal competitive pride, which they may have personal competitive pride and still not try in the All-Star game. So I don't know what the answer is, but I mean, basically unwatchable.
You know what? They incentivized the in-season tournament by offering them financial rewards, which is bizarre for us to see these guys competing in the middle of a NBA season for extra cash. That seems odd to me. If they do that for the All-Star game, it's going to be even worse. The worst part for me as a fan is just how long the All-Star break has become. Like, it's over a week, right, that we're off. And for those of us who feel giant empty voids of sadness in our life when fantasy basketball goes away, it can be a hard time of year.
Very, very difficult struggle to get through the week without actual real basketball. But, as Malcolmus is in first, you're in second, I'm in third in our main league. Like I'm ready to get going again. This is a big week for me. I need to win. I need to have you not do so well. And the other thing about the All-Star break is what it does is it condenses 2 weeks into one long week, and you only get your 4 moves, so you got to really be careful with those, and all that stuff. Did you watch? Here's the best idea I've heard so far. Scrap the whole thing. Just keep playing. Do an in-season tournament for 2 or 3 weeks around the All-Star break, and have it regionalized. So, like, you put teams in certain cities, and they have mini tournaments, and then they all meet in Vegas or Indy or wherever and play the finals. And then have the dunk contest and the 3-point contest during that weekend of the finals for the actual in-season tournament that people care about. What do you think about that?
Sounds terrible. I just don't want any of it. I don't like the in-season tournaments. The one thing I did like was seeing that Charles Barkley race against, was it an old official?
Yeah.
And fell down and kissed on the lips. I thought
Yeah.
that was funny. They should just do that. just have potato sack races with Charles Barkley. I'll tune into that. Take 2 weeks off. I'll do that.
That's awesome, dude, because when I tweeted out that you and I were doing this show today together, somebody on Twitter was like, "Oh, cue up the 2018 references for these 2 old guys that are coming on to talk All-Star game," or something. I don't know what he said, but it's funny that you went back like 25 years straight for the Barkley kissing the referee, and it was old dude. I can't think of his name. Oh, it's too bad.
I just think Charles Barkley is a great ambassador for the sport. I love him. I'm not a huge fan of like Kendrick Perkins when they put him on the TV. Am I veering this podcast into a direction I shouldn't?
No, I think you're okay.
I love Barkley.
I think you're fine. I don't think either one of those dudes are paid by RotoWire. I think you're good. Yeah, I love Barkley too. And Barkley is not a fan of this All-Star game thing. Like, he doesn't like what's going on. But all right, let's talk about your Brooklyn Nets, because as I understand it, Brian, you live within walking distance of going to see the Nets play basketball. Is that correct?
And you can get cheap seats these days.
How often do you go?
I go a few times a year. My kids will go, and we caught an overtime game earlier in the year, which was fun. So they just want to get the fourth quarter McDonald's promotion where you get free fries if the other team misses 2 free throws in a row. That's all they care about. I'm like, I'll buy you fries or $3 and can we watch basketball? But yeah, I can walk to Barclays, and it's great. I just wish the team felt a little bit more exciting right now.
Well, I mean, I guess it does, right? Because Jacques Vaughn got fired yesterday. We're bringing in Kevin Ollie, right?
Former UConn guy.
Yeah, and the team is still intact. Your best player is Malik Beasley, right?
Mikal Bridges.
Who is Malik Beasley? I told you I didn't write anything down, and when I don't write anything down, this is what happens. And we haven't had NBA on TV in 5 days. This is what happens. Mikal Bridges.
These senior moments are to be expected when you are a part of our generation, Steve. But I'll say this: Nicholas Claxton is real exciting to watch. But the key to this team, Ben Simmons.
Yeah.
It's a hard thing to say. If he would just play, he could be fantasy relevant on a team that's punting free throw percentage. He could put up 9 points, 9 rebounds, 9 assists every night.
Like,
Who doesn't want that?
like a Draymond Green triple single.
I don't know what the plan is here. They got rid of Dinwiddie. I don't really know the way forward, and I'll be honest, I've just kind of moved over to being a Knicks fan, which is really actually exciting.
Well, I'm kind of excited about the Nets because Mikal Bridges, even though I don't know his name and think he's Malik Beasley, who I don't even really know who that is. I think I was a player from the 80s or 90s, maybe. I don't know. Mikal Bridges is still a really good player. Should he be an alpha dog? Should he be a number one on an NBA team? Probably not, but that's where we are. With Dinwiddie out of the way, Cam Thomas and Dennis Smith Jr. I don't know. I feel like they could go on a run. I feel like they're going to like playing for Kevin Ollie. I feel like this is going to help Cam Thomas. You know what else is incredible about the Nets, Brian?
Please help me understand.
They play 4 times next week, right? And then the week after that, they play 5 times. They have a 5-game week.
It is time to pick up Ben Simmons.
It's time to pick up any net you can get your hands on because that 5-game week is going to be killer. And there's a lot of nets that are going to be playing a lot of minutes that week, and Cam Thomas is one of them, and I've got him on my 30-team league. I'm fired up about that. Nick Claxton is going to be really good that week. Cam Johnson is going to be really good that week if they play all 5. That's the other thing. That's the flip side of the 5-game week is, will guys even play 5 games anymore in a 5-game week?
Cam Thomas is going to score a lot of points. He's not going to play a lot of defense. Dennis Smith Jr. can still play. He can still throw down a dunk, like make himself look like John Morant. He is an exciting player. He's, I don't think, very fantasy relevant. So yeah, you can go dabble in some nets in your league, but you're gonna want Ben Simmons on your team for the next couple weeks.
Ugh. It just makes me it makes me uncomfortable.
It should.
So this week that we're currently in the second half of a long week at Yahoo and ESPN leagues, there are some 1-game weeks out there. Memphis and Miami only play 1 game this entire week. That is happening on Friday night. So Bam Adebayo, Tyler Hero, Vince Williams, Jaren Jackson. 1 game Friday night. That's it. The 3-game teams this week are weird because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's like 12, 14 of them. But they all play Thursday, Friday, and Sunday, except for 1. And the problem with playing on Thursday, Friday, and Sunday is there's at least 10 games on all 3 of those days. So even if you pick these guys up, you may not be able to plug them into your lineup because there's so many games that day. Now, the day there's not any games is Saturday. Go ahead, Brian.
What you're talking about is the advanced NBA hashtag grid here. It's the number one tool for me. Am I allowed to promote them here on RotoWire? When I consult that thing, it always comes up with the exact week we're on, lists the teams, the games played that week, and has a chart of who's playing Thursday, who's playing Saturday. So if you want to stream players and maximize games played, which is a smart way to do it in a NBA fantasy league like the ones we play in, I go there, I make the move, I get a Thursday, Saturday guy in exchange for my Friday, Sunday guys that would just be on the bench anyway.
Yeah, and RotoWire has that tool in their
Dude,
in
never
their
coming.
In their what's the in their itinerary, in their
itinerary is not the word you want.
No, that's like when you're scheduling to go to the airport and do your trip. It's in there. It'll come to me. Getting old sucks, Brian. Did you know that?
I know, man. look at people. I'm like, I used to know your name.
How about in their repertoire? In
Yeah,
their
there you go. A little bit of français, a little French in there.
throw a little French in there. But okay, so back to this 3-game week thing. So the Orlando Magic, if you're looking for a team that has an alternate schedule to what everybody else has, it is the Orlando Magic. So they're Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday. And I think there's only 3 games on Saturday. So that's the day you're going to need a player. If you're going to make a 3-game player move, I think Orlando is the way to go. And you can probably find one of their many point guards available on your waiver wire, along with maybe some fringe guys that might be worth using, but it's not ideal. It's not a great week to be scraping the waiver wire. And then the teams that have the good schedules coming up, I mentioned the Nets. They go 4 and then 5. Cavaliers, Grizzlies, Heat, Timberwolves play 4 games each in each of the next 2 weeks, starting next Monday. So Cavs, Grizzlies, Heat, Timberwolves, back-to-back 4-gamers. And then you can go to any schedule grid and look at it. But there's a lot of teams that finish up with, there's teams that still have 5 out of the final 7 weeks left. They'll have 4 games per week. So,
in these final weeks where it turns into the silly season, closing out your fantasy win is often about managing your injured reserve, and also avoiding the guys that are going to get rested. So the guys on my list are guys on crappy teams. I'm looking at like guys like Tyus Jones and Jeremy Sochan, and I don't say anyone's name correctly because I just read the names. And I think the guys that got traded recently, like Daniel Gafford, could be really exciting. He's probably already on a lot of rosters, but I think he's going to get enough minutes in Dallas to like be really effective, put up a lot of blocks, a lot of rebounds. So some Alex Caruso, these guys on like crappy teams could really like shine in the last couple months.
yeah, I think silly season is a real thing. I think we're there for a lot of these teams. I know that Brandon Pojemski just got picked up in one of my Yahoo leagues. So if he's sitting there, I think you automatically have to have him on your team. A guy like Kelly Oubre could be sitting there on your waiver wire. I think he's worth a look. Any of the guys in Memphis? Go ahead.
I want to hear about your Grizzlies, but I was going to ask about Podjenski. Is he a better pick than Kuminga? Kuminga seems to just put up points and a few boards and assists, but doesn't really get defensive stats.
It depends. I mean, both of them are must-have fantasy players right now. Like,
really,
Draymond Green just said he wouldn't trade Kuminga for LeBron James in real life right now, and Podjemski is taking over for Klay Thompson, taking over the world. I mean, you want both of those guys on any roster. You can get them on. I think most nights Podjemski's a little bit better of a fantasy player.
My understanding of this Golden State thing, Curry reached out to slap Klay 5. Klay totally dissed him. The next day, Klay was benched and came off the bench and scored a zillion points.
I know the second half of that is true. I didn't hear the part about Klay not responding to Steph Curry's dap.
It was straight up like I'm pretending I don't see that you're reaching out for a high five here. It was I think in the wake of Curry saying he was okay for them to trade Klay. Was that a story? I just read Twitter.
I don't know.
Twitter. Tommy Beer, Claire DeLune. I just read whatever they say.
I just know that Klay has been struggling. And then the other day he was finally like, I felt okay. And then he got benched after another Podjemski big game. And then he went off the bench. But all is not well in Golden State, clearly. Things are not great. But Gigi Jackson in Memphis, Vince Williams in Memphis. Those are guys you want on your team. And these are all guys. I'm just reading right off my roster, Brian, from our league at this point. Denny Avdia playing really well. Actually, did you see what he did last week?
No, I'd like to know. Fortunately, I can't reference it because I'm in my car avoiding my children.
He had 43 points and 15 rebounds the game before the break.
Wow.
Are you stunned?
I am, and is that sustainable?
He had 43 and 15. The game before that, he had 25 and 7. He had 21 and 13. He had 24 and 11.
I'm gonna go pick him up right now. Actually,
you can't. He's on my team.
In my other leagues where people aren't quite as astute.
Oh yeah, you should go do that. And then Dante DiVincenzo is still on my roster. Now, if he was dropped in your league, I think you want to go pick him up.
I think he's going to be dropping a lot of threes, a lot of points the rest of the way. I think that Knicks team is going to gel with OG, with Hartenstein and Mitch Robb splitting the minutes. And DiVincenzo's a big part of it. You know, they cleared out for him when they got rid of Quickly and RJ. So, yeah, I'm with you, and Ben Stiller's with you.
OG's out for a little bit longer. Mitch Robb's out for the year.
Wait, so I thought Mitch Robb was coming back.
Is Mitch Robb coming back?
Oh, yeah.
I thought Mitch Robb was out for the year, dude.
Let's get your producers to check on that and call in and buzz back.
Get back to us on that real quick. I would like to know, because if he's not out for the year, then I've been.
Is there somebody in the comments here? Is anybody watching this who can tell us if Mitch Robb?
I'm just going to pull up. Start on-court activities after the All-Star break. Well, I'll be damned.
Look who the one in the bongo players column there.
He could return before the end of the season. Okay. I'm not running to pick up Mitchell Robinson, but
iHeart's your guy. I'm not picking up Precious either.
Why?
I think that iHeart is days away, and then his relevance is gone.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Precious has been so good. I feel like Precious has made an impression on Tom Thibodeau. People are out there right now, like, look at these idiots. Like, they don't know anyone's name. The supposed expert doesn't even know that Mitch Robb is coming back. That's because we take all-star break off. Everybody needs a break, right? Yeah, I think Precious is going to maintain some fantasy value, even if Hartenstein comes back. Dante DiVincenzo, if he's dropped in your league, pick him up. I've got Wemby out here just balling. I love that. Keontae George scored like 35 the other night.
Can you tell me about this Jeremy Sochan guy?
He's got Jeremy Sohan. He's a power forward that plays point guard for the Spurs.
Anytime you can get a PGPF, you want that guy on your team.
I mean, you kind of do. It's kind of cool.
I think he's been putting up relevant fantasy stats lately, but like I said, I'm in a Honda Odyssey.
No, you did not tell me you were in a minivan. God, the weather looks fantastic in Brooklyn, though. Look at that. Look at the blue sky through the sunroof.
Yeah, I'm not in Brooklyn.
Oh, you're in an undisclosed location. Are you on a yacht right now?
I'm in upstate New York. We're on break. I'm just it is gorgeous, blue skies, 38 degrees.
Do you remember when I was in Key West and that watcher was like, "Are you on a yacht?"
Nice.
And I was like, "No, I'm in a hotel room, but I'm close to yachts. I can see yachts." Other guys that I have got on this team, Brian, I've got the Thompson twins, both of them. I got Amen, I got Auxerre. Kama thinks Amen is going to drop off because Houston's going to get healthy and stop running him as hard. And he thinks Auxerre is going to go off in Detroit because it's silly season and they have no reason not to play him. I think both of these guys are going to continue to go off.
I mean, you really have to keep a close eye on guys like this because they can carry you at the end while you're like hoping that DeMar DeRozan returns to like form, and then these guys are just putting up crazy numbers. Sometimes you have to like let go of your older dinosaurs. I have a guy.
Who you got?
The guy on my list that I was going to ask you about on a new team. What do you think of PJ Washington?
Dude, I think Dallas won the trade deadline. I think Luka got help. Like you said, we've got PJ Washington there now. We've got Danny Gafford there to help Luka. We've got Derek Lively coming back. We've got Josh Green playing well. We got Timmy Hardaway playing okay. Kyrie is back playing well. I'm so psyched about my Mavericks down the stretch.
They actually, like, for someone who mocked them at the beginning of the year for only being Luka and a bunch of rookies, they seem to have like a legit team now. I will say I forgot about Lively coming back. So are there enough minutes to go around between Maxi Kleber and PJ and Gafford in the middle? How can we assess the relevance of that situation?
Well, I think Gafford is going to play because Gafford is a master shot blocker. He's a veteran. I think they traded for him because they want him out there. I think it's going to hurt Lively. It's going to hurt Kleber. I think PJ Washington's going to play a lot of minutes because he shoots threes. He does inside-outside things. He's going to make that team better. But I think they'll find enough minutes to go around for everybody. But Gafford is as must roster as they come right now. Like he should go completely off the rest of the way.
He's putting up huge numbers in like 23 minutes a game, and I think that number should go up. I forgot about Lively. But yeah, he seems like a fantasy stud if he gets the minutes. Yeah, I don't know about PJ. I don't know if he's gonna get enough minutes either. But I'm a Mavericks fan. I actually like Luka now. I used to mock you for just drafting him first, and now I'm like, oh, I see his qualities.
And he's been there's been a likability factor about Luka with all his complaining to the referees and all his constant whining over the years, but he's really toned it down this year. He's hitting more of his free throws. He's being more of a like, I'm going to go out here and have fun in pregame and shoot a bunch of crazy shots and laugh a lot. And then I'm going to laugh a lot during the game and have fun with my boys and my teammates. And I just feel like he's a much more likable Luka right now than he was, say, 2 years ago when he was complaining like LeBron after every single shot. Now, I'm sure there's Luka haters out there. They're like, oh, he still complains way too much, which is fine. But I feel like he complains a lot less.
Yeah, to the haters out there, I would say, how happy can you be when your number 2 guy is Dorian Finney-Smith for a decade?
Well, and I was one of those people, man. I was like, how bet the under on Dallas wins because there's no way that they can win all these games with Luka by himself and just, sometimes Luka and Kyrie. But he's actually good enough that he has carried that team all the way through this season. I think they're the number 5 or 6 seed right now. And if they get up to 3 or 4, Luka's gonna become a serious MVP candidate. And his odds are paying a lot of money right now. So if I had a extra $100 laying around, I'd probably throw it at Luka to win MVP.
Imagine if they still had Brunson on that team.
No kidding. Do you have any? I had Brunson winning the 3-point contest, by the way, and it did not work out for me.
You're talking about All-Star festivities weekend again.
I am. I'm back. I'm back to that. Brian, do you have any other guys on your list? What about when we go through our league's transactions or players, like who's sitting out there who's been hot in the last couple weeks? Do any of these guys get your attention?
I mean, like, is Gordon Hayward coming back? He got traded.
He
I feel like
supposedly is going to play for Oklahoma City after the break. We just don't know when.
I mean, I got him and I got Torrey Eason on my list. I know we talked about him weeks ago and he's been injured, but he was actually putting up real statistics and he should be back. So some of these guys who are getting healthy over the break might want to be on your radar.
Well, and that's the thing I'm scared about with Torrey Eason. Is he going to come back and wreck Amen Thompson? I hope not.
I think he will.
I don't think he will. We've been waiting for him for 3 months. Still haven't seen him. Amen's kind of become entrenched, playing every day, practicing every day. I think you got to let Amen play. He's a cornerstone future of the franchise. What about Duncan Robinson, Miami?
I should have named one of my kids Amen. Amen. And I mean, he's Duncan Robinson. He's gonna shoot high percentage threes, and he seems like a specialist to me. But he's probably getting enough minutes. I don't know. What do you think?
He's playing good lately. Jimmy's been out.
Right.
Jaime's been kind of banged up, although he's back, I think. I like Duncan Robinson. Eric Gordon with Bradley Beal's injury is sitting out there on our waiver wire. Bradley Beal's hurt again. Who knows how many games he's going to miss? I think Eric Gordon is worth a look. Corey Kispert, silly season specialist in Washington.
Yes.
Corey Kispert will have a 40-point game before this is all over.
Tyus Jones the last few games has been putting up monster numbers, like 16 assists a night. And I don't know, I just feel like some of those guys on crappy teams are really gonna get a chance to inflate their numbers.
Josh Green sitting out there, John Concar in Memphis sitting out there. Like, these are all guys you can look at picking up. Kelly Olynyk, totally unreliable, playing for playing for Toronto, but he's going to have some big games. We just don't know when they're coming.
How many times have we picked up Kelly Olynyk and said, this is the time. This is the time that he's going to get a real chance. He's going to be consistent. And then by a few weeks later, he's not on your roster.
Dennis Smith Jr. just sitting out there.
I don't want him.
You don't want him?
No.
Because Ben Simmons is too mighty and powerful.
He's back, and they're gonna play him. Dennis Smith Jr. is not in anyone's plans.
I still don't trust Ben Simmons to get through the season. How many games has he played? Like 7?
Oh no, he's gonna play a game, take a game off, play a game, take a couple off.
God, it sounds amazing. Let me stop what we're doing right here and run out and pick him up, get him on my roster.
I got 2 minutes, and I got to drive my kids somewhere.
2 minutes? You said 40.
Is anybody asking any questions?
Yes, that's where I'm going. Jay Sizzle is helping us out. Dick Bavetta was the referee that Charles Barkley kissed on the lips.
I loved it.
Lumad wants to know, would you rather have Derek Lively or Paul Reed in a 14-team 9-cat league? I would rather have Paul Reed, I think.
He seems like the guy that you would put in when Embiid would go down in a streaming situation for your fan duel, and then you would be disappointed.
Dub Force is like, Malik Beasley plays for the Bucks, dude, and he's probably on like 3 of my teams. I knew I was pulling Malik Beasley from somewhere. He's a 3-point specialist for the Bucks.
I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want to feel like I was like
an idiot like me. Thanks, Brian. Who else we got here? Malik Beasley is a current Buck. Dude, that's so funny. I know that. Like, I know this. I've been doing this. Oh my gosh. What about Ayu Desumu? That's from Spurs 72. Ayo Desumu, I still think is a good pickup.
I like picking up Bulls right now that are going to get a chance.
Brian, do you need to piece out of here right now? I feel like you do.
Yeah, maybe I should have one parting statement.
Yeah, leave us with your parting thoughts. Yeah, do it.
Grab Ben Simmons, and if it doesn't work out, come find me. Well, how was that?
That was great.
All right.
That was really, really good. I think you could have got a little closer to your phone, but
I probably should have better advice than that. If I was going to be dramatic about it, I should have said something of actual value.
If you're going to show us your nose hair and get all up in your phone, you should probably have something better than Ben Simmons, but that's okay. That's all right. All right. Go take your kids to wherever you need to take them. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for humoring me through the Malik Beasley disaster. I'm going to go through a couple more questions here if we can. And Brian, we will see you down the road, bro.
Thanks for having me, Steve.
I'll see you in March, I hope. Okay. Brian's gone. Don Sicario, Brandon Clark, is he worth a stash? I don't think so, just because he's been out all year, and I think Memphis is all in on the kids at this point. I just find it hard to believe they're going to bring Brandon Clark back for the last 3 weeks of the season and let him ball out. Maybe they will. Half these guys are going to be bouncing in and out of the G League. So maybe they will, but as of right now, I'm not. Brandon Clark's not really on my radar, but I guess he's worth keeping an eye on. But there's 20 other players you can go stash unless you're just in a super deep league. Jabari Smith from the Rockets, thoughts on him? He's having a good season, maybe not meeting expectations season, but he's fine. He's a guy I'm not as worried about as I am guys like Tari Eason and Amen Thompson. But Jabari Smith, I don't know if you're asking, like, is he okay to be on your team? Is he somebody you should go try to pick up? But I think he's having a fine year, and there's not anything wrong with him. Yuri is here. Lumot is here from the Philippines. Lumot says Jokic and Nesmith or Luka and Marvin Bagley. I would take Luka and Bagley. As far as news for Nesmith, we need, RotoWire is the place to go check that out. I guess I can look at it right now, but Nesmith getting an MRI on shin. That's old news. Yeah, we just don't know on him. I'll take a healthy Luka and Bagley, please, in that scenario. What other comments do we have? Safi says, someone's asking me to trade James Harden and John Collins for Kyle Kuzma, Jay Will, Jabari Smith. Wanted your opinion. Is that the same? That's why he asked me about Jabari Smith. I would hold on to James Harden and John Collins, dude. Kyle Kuzma, probably going away during some silly season at some point. Yeah, I think you want Harden. Harden and the Clippers are trying to win it all. They're trying to make a run. Do not trade James Harden. Keontae George or Trey Mann? Now, this is a great question from Gerald Gutierrez. Keontae blew up last game. Trey Mann has been super hot for the last his 3 games he's played in Charlotte. He's been awesome. So I think this is kind of a coin flip. I think for me, I like Trey Mann just a little bit more because I trust him a little more. But if Trey Mann is not available and I can pick up Keontae George right now, I'm picking up Keontae George. So the answer is both, with a tip of the hat to Trey Mann. Good morning, guys. Dub Force, Reed, or GG Jackson. It's time to give up on Keegan Murray. Amen Thompson, Trey Mann, Keontae are the pickup options. I mean, I love Amen. I love Trey. I love Keontae. Like, those are my 3 guys right now. So I might rather have all 3 of them over Keegan. As far as Reed or GG Jackson, I think I trust Reed a little bit more, but I like Jackson more as a player. I'm going to say GG. I'm going to say GG and Trey Mann are my answers there. And we're back at the end. Is Denny Avdia? Why do I say Avdija? It's Avdia. Is Denny a must-have player? Drop Lively or Gafford or Mann? You're not dropping Gafford. You're not dropping Mann. Because of Gafford's presence and because of PJW, I don't know that Lively is as must-have as he once was. I mean, that Gafford really stifles him quite a bit. So if you want to drop Lively to pick up Denny Avdia, I'm okay with that. Denny's been fun for me. You look at his rankings. I mean, he's like a 9th or 10th round value for the year, probably. But he's kind of been balling lately, and his confidence has turned the corner, and I like it a lot. And it's fun to have on your team. So yeah, I'm going to say if you're going to do that, drop Lively. Do not drop Dan Gafford. Do not drop Trey Mann. All right, last question. And then I'm out of here. Would you move on from Jaden Ivey once Chris Paul comes back? Punting threes and turnovers. You know, I just don't know what Detroit is doing. Monty just keeps playing his guys, keeps stifling the kids. Something's got to give. You know, I've read some things about his job should be in trouble, stuff like that. I don't know, man. Jaden Ivey and Ausar Thompson still have plenty of time to be silly season superheroes when Detroit stops trying and stops caring about trying to win games and just starts tanking it up. So I don't think I'd get rid of Jaden Ivey yet, and plus we need to wait till Chris Paul's back. But it's worth looking into. But I still think Jaden Ivey's going to finish up strong. But we'll see. All right, guys. Kamla and I will be here at 11 o'clock on Thursday with bells on. That will be the day that the NBA is getting back underway. Cam and I can talk a little bit more about the schedule if you guys didn't catch all that. Plus, it's in my RotoWire column for a weekend recap. I really took a deep dive into the schedule, and it's worth really focusing on if you want to win your league, because that's the way you do it in silly season. So we will see you on Tuesday at 11. Thanks for coming, and sorry that I forgot who Malik Beasley was. What is wrong with me? See you guys.